what's wrong? There's a lot of things that are wrong, isn't there? There's a lot of things at that stage that are very wrong with this opportunity. We can see them for ourselves. It's not hidden from view. It's not something we're looking at saying, I don't quite know what it is that's wrong with this, but you can see what's wrong with it. The R squared is wrong for the buy trade, isn't it? The R squared is 100% wrong almost on that deal. So the only way we're going to be able to take advantage of this probability here is if the probability stays down and the R squared drops. The more the R squared drops, the better for the trade. So in other words, there's a quality to this. So when the R squared on these candles here starts dropping really quickly here, see that? See how R squared really dropped fast now? And then on this candle here, this was ridiculously good. On this candle here, R squared was actually going below 50. And as R squared went below 50, the probability hadn't changed. The volume had already arrived for the trade, and I was now looking very, very keenly on this big candle here. For my own account, for the bank's account, I was a buyer and a big buyer of oil on that candle. So I thought I'm going to buy up all that candle there. So I popped across to NinjaTrader, popped a little buy trade into NinjaTrader on the next candle. And obviously we've had a very easy ride out of town off of this trade, haven't we? Very nice, easy ride out of town. It's going to buy trade at 45 bid, and we've gone 70 buyers at the moment. So that's a nice trade. That's 25 ticks on the buy trade, 25 ticks. On volume, on that candle. Probability and pin. If the probability is 99% for a long trade, and the pin is 1.0, it's never going to be a trade, guys. I'm sorry, it's not going to be a trade. It might be a V-pin trade, but it's still not going to be a trade, because it's not a V-pin R squared trade, is it? It's not a VR squared pin trade. And it needs to be. As we develop out our ideas as traders, the idea is ultimately it has to fit in with the narrative of our value story. If it doesn't fit in with the value narrative of our story, it ain't going to be a deal. It's not good enough. This is the perfect buy trade. This is what it should look like. And these are the ones we're going to try and select as a very, very special process in this narrative. We're going to select these ones as the ones that are going to have that trigger quality about them. The ability to see these as the deals coming through trade log that you're not going to try and interpret. You're just going to see it and you're going to say, that's the deal for me. And obviously those outcomes, well, they are pretty simply, quite simply, incredible so far. This is one of them. You can see just how good that little trade's developed now. It's been an absolute ripping peach of a trade. Qualities there, guys. This is how the trade's developed as we've gone forward here. I'll just take another screenshot of it. You can see it for yourself. That trade has developed beautifully, hasn't it? Absolutely beautifully. Right off at 2 o'clock, right off the narrative, right off the storylines. Everything about that trade is just about right, isn't it? Everything about it is just about where it should be. And my goodness, what an outcome, guys. What an outcome. And as I said, the thing is that we're not suggesting that this is going to be a big winning trade. What we're suggesting is it's going to be a high probability trade. And to have a high probability trade buying a low price, that's where that gets a little bit special, isn't it? To be able to get that type of probability buying the swing low or the day low or the session low, that's a little bit special, if I don't mind saying so myself. To be able to get a trade that is now trading in the day session lows with that type of probability, I think is absolutely brilliant. 3 contracts, $1,000. Who doesn't like that as a bit of an outcome? Pretty good. I think it's pretty good. So that's the idea, guys, is that the mix of the R squared and the V-pin gives us the real quality that we're looking for every trade we take on these. So that's what we're obviously looking to do. Now, there is a challenge to this trade, and it's a big challenge. If you look at the oil on the 15-minute chart, it looks awfully like what we've seen before. So look at oil in a 15-minute chart, guys. Look at what's happened. Look at the buy side delta coming in here. So see how it transitions to a sell here? On a 15-minute chart, it's never changed, has it? So we're seeing the transitions again coming off those Baltics there. Do you see them on a 15-minute chart? And again, the easy trade. And then again, you can see the transitions coming in here, can't you? There's a transition coming back in again there, can't you? You can see it. And another easy sell-off. So those longer-term charts, this is a 15-minute oil chart. Those longer-term charts are the reason why this is not an easy trade trying to buy this low price. Because you can see it really is a macro short. Macro short. Big picture selling, big picture selling, big picture selling. Is it not interesting that the sells on the transition usually come from Baltics? So the sell that came in from the transition came from the Baltics here. The sell that came in for this transition came from that Baltic there. And the sell from this transition came from that Baltic there. So again, it's another recognition that some of the other tools can allow us to see some of these extra elements. Very, very sweet indeed. Lovely trade, lovely outcome, guys. Lovely trade, lovely outcome.